My name is Agnes Barthel, and I'm one of the winners of the Karin Larson YourClassical Prize. I'm from Duluth, and I started taking piano lessons when I was about 3 or 4 years old. My mom would have different college students come over and teach lessons right at our house. And then in middle school, I went to an event that was for young pianists and young musicians to learn more about pipe organ. It's called Pedals, Pipes, and Pizza. And I went to this event and I realized the organ is actually a really neat instrument. And so I talked to the music director at my church, St. Paul's Episcopal, and I asked him if he would teach me lessons. And I even got this nice little scholarship from the American Guild of Organists to take lessons for free. And ever since then, it's kind of been more my thing. Organ is an individual instrument, but you can make so much sound on it. It's basically the whole orchestra, right? It's got every instrument you can think of sort of emulated in the sound that the pipes create. Very simplified, how it works is that each of these little knobs is called a stop, and it's controlling a rank of pipes, which is a whole set of pipes that have a certain shape that give it a certain sound. So, for example, you have your principal pipes, which are kind of your default organ sound. And if I want to hear the principal sound, I can just pull a principal stop. And that gives me just like your normal organ sound, and then the number underneath each of the names indicates the length of the pipe. So if I want an octave higher than that, I can pull a 2-foot. That's 2 octaves higher. A 4-foot would be 1 octave higher. And then you've got your different sort of sections here for the different manuals, and then of course the pedal. If you want a different color than the principals, you can pull reeds, or you've got like your trumpet stop. That's going to be a very bright sound. And then you can start combining, and you can couple the manuals together so you can get a whole bunch of sound all on one keyboard. And it gets very complicated trying to figure out, what sounds do you want for which music. And then you've even got a couple of special things. Most organs have some sort of cymbal stern. Ours sounds like this. But yeah, there's just, every single organ is pretty much different. So you've got different sounds depending on what organ you're playing. And I think that's really beautiful. The piece that I chose for the contest was Church Bells Beyond the Stars by Cecilia McDowell. She is a prominent choral composer in England, and she also does quite a bit for organ. I really connected with it. I thought the rhythms were so intricate, and the registration, she didn't write a lot of registration, but I listened to the official recording of it and kind of tried to emulate that shimmering, glittering sort of ethereal effect that I think she was going for. It's a contemporary piece of music, but it's also, I think it harkens back to a lot of like the tradition of organ and where it came from and the history of it. It has these like irregular rhythms that are trying to emulate, I believe she's trying to emulate church bells, sort of the way they start in this pattern and then they kind of like fall out of sync. Something that makes it such a cool piece of music is it has these extremes. It gets really loud and energetic at parts, and then it really comes down to almost nothing at others, and it just shows sort of the power of the organ, power in the quietness and power in the loudness, and it shows kind of both extremes that the instrument can really create. And I think it makes this atmosphere and this mood of peacefulness and calmness that is really beautiful. I had heard about the prize from some email from music orgs at St. Olaf, and it was in the back of my mind, but I wasn't seriously considering applying. I just, had kind of been thinking about it. And I called my mom. She encouraged me to just go for it. And play whatever I had, and then I had found this amazing piece by Cecilia McDowell, so I thought, okay, I might as well record something and apply. And it was a little bit last minute. I got my roommate and my friend to help me like record this janky DIY video, and then St. Olaf helped me out and recorded a better quality video, and I submitted it, I think, literally on the last day that you could, and then I kind of forgot about it. I wasn't thinking, oh, I have this in the bag or anything like that. I thought, well, I'm up against like all these different types of classical instruments that are more popular or more interesting, and I'm just going to submit it and see what happens. But then months later, I got a call that I was a finalist, and I freaked out, of course. And then that was when I had to start, emailing it out to everyone. I told literally everyone I know. My parents told all their friends. I told all my friends. I told everyone at church, at my multiple churches that I have been involved with. And yeah, it was truly a crazy week there. And then once I found out that I was the winner, I was just ecstatic and so grateful because I wouldn't have been able to do it without my friends and my professors and my parents. It has been an incredible opportunity. To win was awesome, but since then too, to record and to get to play for the board of NPR and open up all these opportunities has been amazing. And I feel like I have more of a network now, more of a, I'm making a name for myself more as a musician. I'm not just an organ student now. I'm like working on my organ career, and my networking and having to market myself as a musician was an excellent opportunity to learn how to do that, because that's something that all musicians are going to have to do, especially as the internet is a bigger and bigger part of what we're doing. It's just, in a lot of ways, it has been a fantastic learning experience. And then of course the prize money is like seriously such a huge part of the burden of paying tuition for college has been lifted. So it's in a lot of ways, it's almost life-changing, I would say.